I used to buy lunch every day for 300 bob. So it was simply saying, from now on, packed lunch from home, and then I'll go on holiday. And Janet, I have traveled the world on that principle.
Back then, I used to do hair sales after maybe 2 weeks, 1 month, but this is like a 9 to 10 months hairstyle.
Yes.
So that is one of the things that I cut down on. Also Wi-Fi. There's a lot of things.
Hi there, this is It's Official with Janet Mbugua. I'm your host, and I'm so happy that you're here. Not too long ago, we talked about the high cost of living. We broke down the numbers, we talked to people out there about their own experiences. And this time, are we broke or are we poor planners? Because that's the other side of the conversation. What do you do with what you have? Why are you constantly in a rat race trying to figure out why you just never seem to have enough resources to do something? Or do you just not have a good plan? And so we spoke to two people who've kind of found a way within these economically constraining times that we're living in. They found a way to plan, and I think there's something to learn from them. We also spoke to the founder of Centonomy, Washeke Ndwati, who believes that we're poor planners, more or less.
Young people are coming up with creative ways of surviving in these economic hard times. And so today we have met one Dan, who is from Thika Makongeni, and you will kindly bear with us because we are along the road. This is It's Official with Janet Mbugua. My name is Dorcas Kamau. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
My name is Daniel Wanderi. I am the Chief Executive of Eco Hydroponic Gardens. It's an enterprise that focuses on solving social issues,
Yes.
including cost of living,
Yes.
especially for urban communities and the most vulnerable, youth and women.
So describe to us shortly, what is hydroponics?
To put it simply, hydroponics is the science of growing plants without using soil.
Yes.
And that overcomes many challenges, including soil degradation, poison in the soils, and many other challenges, including climate change.
Yes. What is the need you identified and decided this is my unique way of planting?
Sometimes life is about self-awareness. 2020,
Yes.
I was working as the head of business strategy for an American company,
Yes.
piloting robotics curriculum in Rwanda and Zambia and several other countries. But COVID came, schools are shut. As I was there with plenty of time, 10 hours, 11 hours a day, I got crave and decided if today I couldn't find food in my next grocery, what could I do?
Yeah.
So I rented a rooftop, 8 meters by 20 meters,
Yeah.
22 meters. I did my first crop, tomatoes. Mark you, I harvested, to my shock, 20 tons.
What?
20 tons from a rooftop. I never stopped. Before I realized, I was overwhelmed by
orders. Yes.
What do I do? I registered this as a business.
Yes.
So one thing led to the other. This is our 4th year.
Wow. So your innovation came in times of crisis.
Yes.
You do not have any farming background at home?
Zero.
What is your encouragement to young people who want to start something and to start small?
Before you call everyone else to believe in your idea, first believe it yourself.
Yeah.
Because if someone else will come and sway you from that idea, then it means you're also weak. First, you must have confidence in your idea. Let me use myself. When I started, despite that I had income, I was paying my bills without a hassle. Those who were around me thought I was mad when they were seeing me in garbages collecting empty bottles to convert them into a garden.
Yes.
This is the 4th year. It is a story. We have been featured far and wide, including in Japan. You know?
Yes.
My message to them is this: keep grinding.
As a young person, do you think it's important to save, and have you been saving?
Yes, it's important to save, especially for your future. And yes, I'm saving. I have like 2 savings plans. One with a financial institution, insurance, and money market.
Okay.
Yes.
What have you been doing in the previous days when the cost of living was at least manageable? that you changed to a more simple life to save on the spending?
Hairstyle. This is a very cost-effective hairstyle. You know, back then I used to like do hairstyles on after maybe 2 weeks, 1 month, but this is like a 9 to 10 months hairstyle.
Yes.
So that is one of the things that I cut down on. Also Wi-Fi. There's a lot of things. Also, when I'm going to town, I look for the cheaper means of transport.
Yes.
I had started a course in project management,
Yes.
but due to the high cost of education, I was unable to commence with it, so I had to put a stop to it. So it affected my education life. Also for basic needs like shelter, when you see electricity is also up,
Yes.
the water bill is also up. Actually, they increased the rates.
Yes.
You know, they increased the rates.
Yes.
So everything is up. So sasa unajipanga tu.
So would you apply for a course to learn how to manage your funds? Just courses that are financial based?
Yes, I would, because I think financial literacy is one of the things that we have underrated.
Yes.
And it is very, very crucial, especially for young people, because maybe in the next 5-10 years, our decisions right now about finances is going to reflect. So when you're 40, your financial decision when you're 30 is going to reflect.
Yes.
So it's very key that you plan yourself early as now. Even if you don't benefit, your children will benefit. They will not even struggle, maybe for education, also medical insurance, things like that.
Okay. So thank you so much. It was nice having you.
Thank you.
And of course, you and we as young people also have a place to save, to invest, and also to take courses that will help us understand more on finances and how we can manage the small or much money we get. Thank you so much. My name is Dorcas Kamau, and this is It's Official with Janet Mbugua.
It's always so good to talk to you, Asheke.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to remember the first time, other than the times when I would host you on TV. There's a time there was the Top 40 Under 40, I think in 2015.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can take you back to the metaphor you used about the orange.
All right. My goodness.
I
You
know.
remember.
I remember. I wish and that's why I wanted you to highlight it a little bit, because it shifted something in me.
Yeah.
But do you mind just starting us off with what that metaphor was, like that story of
You
the
know, I'm
orange?
having a moment where, oh my goodness, someone remembered what I said 9 years ago.
No, but because,
Yeah.
and I think it's also because you make it relatable, right?
Yeah. So it was when you have an orange, when people buy an orange, they look at the outside. Yeah. So when we go and we see these nice, bright, imported oranges, so we buy them because that tells us they are juicy, or that's what we think. Then we ignore these other ones where the outside may not be that good, but sometimes you buy these other oranges and you taste them and you're like, oh my goodness, it is so sweet. Yeah. But life has become about that, and especially when you talk about money, people are so concerned with the outside to the detriment of the inside. Because some of these oranges can look really good, but inside they are rotten.
Yeah.
So with money, because we're talking about money today, what do people want? They want to show. I've got it. I have it under control. I'm driving the right car.
I'm living the life.
Yeah. My kids are going to the right school. Oh, so-and-so has gotten this phone. I must top them. So we are so concerned with what do other people think and see about us. But what's happening inside? We are falling apart.
We really are.
We are in debt that we cannot manage. We are trying to do so much. You know, I talk a lot to women. We're trying to support everybody. All the black tax in the world, anybody who can claim anything is claiming, and you're giving because that's what you think you should be doing. So we've got to start asking ourselves, what's in the inside? Who am I? What do I really want?
What's important to me?
What's important? Yeah? And then that will now start reflecting on the outside. So if I decide family and values are important to me, I will run my life and my money in a way that allows that.
Why do you think people find it hard to tap into that? What's the biggest thing you tend to hear about what they're afraid to find when they look inward?
Am I good enough? Yeah? I'm so scared of failure. I'm so scared, but am I good enough? And then you see, we've lived a tick-the-box life. Go to school, pass exams, go to university, get a job, retire, die, and in the middle, get kids, get married, and this is the life that you should have. But then nobody starts to question why do I want it? Yeah. And for me, when I started Centonomy, it was simple as lunch money. And I keep talking about this because this is why I started Centonomy. So if you've heard it before, forgive me. I know I always talk about it. Yeah. But I used to buy, I had not reflected. I used to buy lunch every day for 300 bob that time. Yeah, this was in 2007. Yeah. But 300 shillings every day is 9,000 shillings a month. And 9,000 times 12 is 108,000 shillings. And to me, I thought, 108,000 shillings on lunch. Then one day I thought, what is important to me? And I think people, don't be scared of facing things one at a time. What is important to me? I like going on holidays. I know the answer people expect to hear is, oh, you could do something, invest, etc. And you can do all that. But I was like, I like going on holidays. And I'm always telling myself, I can't afford to go on holidays. But lunch money is holiday. So it was simply saying, from now on, packed lunch from home. See, there's leftovers at home anyway, yeah? And then I'll go on holiday. And Janet, I have traveled the world on that principle. So it's just understanding what has value to me, because even with money, we are going for more. But I'm not seeing happier people. Why? Because you can buy all the cars in the world, but if you don't tap into what is important. So for me, it doesn't matter if I have all the cars in the world and I didn't travel. And then in the middle of that, the same principle works for things that we need to do. Understanding, yes, I want to go on holiday, but what is also important is if I go on holiday and my kid is out of school, I also want to be happy. Yeah. I mean, I won't have a happy holiday.
Exactly. You have to strike the balance that works for you.
Yes,
and I always credit Washeke for the times. I would host you and you were giving me nuggets into my future. Yeah. Because I did remember, because at that time I didn't even have a family when I would speak to you. Yes. And so when I finally got one, I kept in mind what you'd say about just planning. Yeah. And it's just made things, I still have my own journey with finances. I feel like I dip and peak. So the times I peak, I'm so proud of myself. Then when I dip, I have to have an AGM with myself again and be like, okay, Janet, why don't we go back to where we are? But, we were talking about how people are surprised at the cost of things right now. And you were like, Janet, this is something, is it cyclical or is it just that we should not be surprised when economically there seems to be a crunch and things seem to be a lot more expensive? Yeah. What are we going through right now as a country and why shouldn't we be surprised?
First of all, yes, there are always, every moment, unique circumstances. But having done this for 15 years, it could be 4 or 5 times I've had moments where there's intense noise about costs going up. Sometimes it's been after election. Sometimes it's just the fuel prices went up. Sometimes because of prolonged drought that we have had several times in those 15 years that people are complaining about costs. Yes, every time you can identify and say a unique situation. Now, at this time people were talking about how dollar went up, so which affected the prices. Yes, we've not seen the dollar go up this much in a long time. But the concept of prices going up is not a surprise. School fees will go up. Fuel will go up. They generally don't come down. If you look at the last 15 years, generally prices, the rent goes up. Yeah, if you want to make some invest, the stock market generally over the long term goes up. Yeah, so the concept of prices going up is not something we should complain about, but it's okay to say, okay, they've gone up in a way that I had not expected. What do I do about it? And I like that you mentioned you've gone through ups and downs, peaks, and it's understanding there will be a peak, there will be a down. So when you're at your peak, don't live life assuming it is forever.
Oh, that's a good one.
And the first thing that helped me, even when I started business, is the concept of an emergency fund, which is one day something will happen that you cannot anticipate. So if I have money set aside, and everybody listening to this, start with aiming for 3 months of your living expenses set aside. And by living expenses, I do not mean your bill at the bar. I mean rent.
Yeah, household goods.
School fees, your necessities, how I take myself from home to work. Those are the necessities. If something happened to your source of income, like we saw even when the pandemic hit, COVID hit, what people were disrupted is all of a sudden I can't pay rent. The employer has said, I can't afford to pay salaries anymore. Don't live life knowing that if today you do not get your salary, that your life falls apart. Yeah? Because money loses value as in costs go up over time. That's what's called inflation. It will always happen. When you're planning for bigger things like school fees next year, start adding a 10% increase. So if
that's good advice. Yeah.
So if you're paying 100,000 or 50,000 this term, next year, let me plan with 60,000. School books will go up. The uniform shop, every time I go there, I'm like, but last time it was, last term, it was this, and then this term it's that. It will go up. So your expenses will go up.
So anticipate that and kind of think through the margin at which you're... But do you think right now, is there anything unique about the current situation? Or to your point, is it like, no, not really? Or is there something different this time?
Well, without getting into very much of an economic discussion, the underlying things that costs went up is not unique. The level to which they have gone up is unique because of now the unique circumstances that the country was facing, But the concept of prices going up, no. The level and the pace at which they have gone up, even I get shocked.
So how does somebody pivot? I think a lot of people are feeling a bit jaded or feeling like, okay, normally I can pivot. This time, I don't know what to rethink or relook in order to kind of navigate what I'm dealing with. Everyone's situation is different, but what's kind of first off thing that we need to think through in terms of trying to adjust to?
All right. I talked about essential expenses. Start thinking, because a lot of people I'm talking to, you realize, first of all, where they're really affected is where, the nice things that they have in their life, the comforts. And I think that's where we've been really shaken up. I used to go to the restaurant every week or every 2 weeks for lunch. I can't do that anymore. I know people listening to this have never thought about how they're spending money on lunch. So where you are buying lunch every day has gone up. So you've got to think those kind of expenses, where do you adjust? Or if you actually cannot afford it, don't do it. Because if your expenses are over your income, there's no magic formula about this. Cut your expenses. There's no formula about this. Cut the expenses. So look at, yes, I have my essentials, but if your problem is the non-essentials in your life have gone up, and they will, because a lot of the non-essentials, and this is now getting into more the economic, were probably coming from other countries. Other countries, it's the dollar they use. So when you go to the supermarket and you're buying imported things, that cost will definitely have gone up, which is, in another discussion why also our dollar rate.
It's all kind of interwoven
it's all interwoven. So go there and say, okay, do I really need this? I saw the info track. In Centonomy for 15 years, we've been telling people this. One income, no. You have to figure out, what else do I do to earn money? Because you're right, expenses are going up. You can only reduce to a certain point. So if your long-term strategy cannot be reduction of expenses, because my goal is wealth creation for everybody, So how do I increase my income? When I was working, I remember I started writing articles for the newspaper. It used to pay me 3,000 bob per article. At the end of the month, that's 12,000 shillings. When I speak to people and I tell them, look for something like that, but they're like, what would 3,000 bob do? Articles became a book. So people don't see the value of small amounts of money. And that 3,000 bob could be now the extra that you have for the milkshake. So start thinking, what do you do to make income? People always think, but I don't have money to start a business. In Centonomy, we teach something called non-financial assets. For me, it was writing. For other person, they are creative. Other people can cook.
What do you have in your hands?
What do you have within you that can help somebody else, and you can actually charge money?
And what about a story that you've seen that kind of started at a place where you were like, I don't know if we can help this one, to the point where now they are a testimony to kind of the courses.
All right. I'll talk about Douglas. Douglas is actually in the book Making Sense. He's one of my characters, And the book talks about, I got the stories from real people. And why I did that is why you're asking, so that people can, it's not a theory how to book. I'm telling you, Douglas did this, Faith did this, Deshaun did this, I did this, Susan did this. So somewhere in there you'll see yourself. So I love the question you asked. Douglas was living life like everybody, on the edge. Paycheck to paycheck. So I met him, and what struck him about what Centonomy was telling him is that question you're asking, if something happened to your source of income, what would you do? And that changed Douglas's life. So he came for Centonomy. And remember, Douglas was always the one. Every class, he has done the work. So where does your journey start from? First, know exactly how much money you are spending. Exactly. Not I estimate I spend on hair X amount. When you go to the salon, write it down. Write it down. Note it. Exactly. I paid for parking. Like today I paid for parking, 50 shillings. Yeah. Write it down. Parking. Then at the end of the month, you will be surprised. So that's an exercise we do in Centonomy, and it is one of the most powerful exercises to lay the foundation. There's no point of us telling you how to double your income before, because the double of the income can go down in the same rabbit hole. Yeah.
It needs a strong foundation.
So he did that, and he understood how much money he was spending on other people. For him, that was the aha moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pleasing other people. So when he's out, he wants to look like the one who's paying the bill, the family, all that. Plus, he got in touch with the things that hinder him about money. We have beliefs around money, and his was people from our community don't make money. So we all have a money belief that we're also struggling with. I talked about not being good enough, yeah? Mine was you don't deserve it. As well as the C student, I was the quiet one. Everybody got the attention. It's a miracle I do what I do.
It's a testimony, a walking testimony.
Yeah. But that kind of holds. So what's holding you back? Even things that maybe our parents told us, they meant well when they said money doesn't grow on trees, but it made us go out with a scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
So Douglas tackled that, and his was, my community, we don't make money. So between the two, he changed his mindset. Did his salary go up? No. But that's what I'm talking about, non-financial assets. I'm good at communication, and he started doing work. He has his job, then weekends, etc., he's doing consultancies on communication. He ended up writing a book. I have a whole chapter in the book saying how Douglas made 10 million shillings. It is not through a big business that was started. It is not through a big plot of land that was bought. It is his communication skills. He wrote a book and continued. He went past that and entered what I like, significance, impact. With what I have and the journey my life has taken me, I can mentor young people. So he started now an organization that mentors young people. And I would love everybody to go from that journey of survival to where you're being now able to maintain yourself. You can still do your aspirations, holiday and whatever it is, but also significance. Because when you also deal with money from a point of it's not just about me, something tells you it tends to drive you forward.
Yeah, it does.
It tends to push you.
The purpose.
The purpose, yeah. People can scream about all the economy as they want, but me, I know I have to pay salary. So I'm not going to wallow in it. I'm going to actually move forward.
Yeah. You've given us a snapshot.
Yeah.
Talk to us as we prepare to wind up a little bit about the different platforms that you have, the different platforms through which people can access what you do.
Okay.
And then obviously ending with where the book is available.
Okay. So just out like you have this conversation, I have a conversation called Making Sense Conversations. And Janet, I do hope we'll do a lot more of these money conversations.
I need it. I feel like I need Washeke in various forms. First, I need a coach. And then the conversation. But yes, I'd love to have that with you.
So if people are happy with my voice and want to hear more of my voice, Making Sense Conversations, the podcast. Okay. Yeah, so you can get it on all these podcasts, Spotify and all the rest. The book is available in major bookshops, but you can also get in touch with us directly at Centonomy and order it. Yeah, and then Centonomy, all these lessons have come from 15 years of Centonomy. So Centonomy teaches people about money. So we have a course called Centonomy 101. That is what Douglas did. That gets you from where are you today. What do you need to change, whether it's your spending, understanding debt, how do you invest, what's your financial plan, with the goal of you becoming a wealth creator. We're very clear about that. We're not a savings plan. We want you to create wealth, and wealth asks these questions. How long can you survive without your source of income? When you retire, what's still providing you with that money coming in every month so that you can live? And we want you to do what makes your heart sing. That's why we say it has to be about abundance. Yeah? Go on holiday. Do those things that you actually aspire to do, because life was not just meant to be about surviving. Yeah? I truly believe I'm getting better in what I'm supposed to be doing. It fulfills me. I see the impact it has on other people. I have great friends. I have a great family. So the things that are important are in place. The rest keep being shaken up. But I've learned, actually, these are the things that are important. So I'm going to keep going. But I'm happy, and I wish for everybody to be as happy as me, and to just find that place of contentment. I'm content that no matter what is going on the outside, I am who God created me to do, and I am experiencing God, I'm experiencing myself, and I'm experiencing life.
Wow. Ooh, goosebumps. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Thank
We
you.
could go on and on.
Yes, we could.
But that was beautiful, what you just
Yeah.
said. And I think it's about thinking through. Sometimes there's so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And I think we can get caught up, rightfully so,
Yeah.
when things seem everywhere.
Yeah.
But going back to that gratitude and
Yeah.
and being independent of what's
Yeah.
going on. So thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
And for everything you do. Honestly, Washaki, I think you've helped so many people navigate their lives. Like I said, I also need to, come back, because I think
Yeah.
people can come for a course and
Yeah.
then come back for another one,
Yeah.
because your life is evolving. And thank you for just letting us know that what we're experiencing,
Yeah.
it's not unusual. It could
Yeah.
be the level, but
Yeah.
it goes back to your habits and your spending.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Janet, for having me anytime.
Yeah.
And I know we could go on forever.
For a day, but
thank you so much, and
Yeah.
I'll gladly do this again with you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I think what we can learn from Daniel and Rose is that it's a matter of trying to find saving platforms. It's also how you culture yourself going forward. We do want to spend on nice things, but we always can't do that. So how do you shift your mindset? How do you reflect on what your priorities are? And then how do you just make those baby steps, just little by little, to begin to spend on what's important, save, and eventually maybe even have something to enjoy yourself with? Because we're not saying you don't live. We're not saying you should be so constrained. I just think we need to be so careful about the rising cost of everything around us and how we can make the best of what we have. Thank you again to Dorcas for speaking to our storytellers today. And thank you for watching. I'm Janet Mbugua. This is It's Official with me, and I'll see you again very soon.